Fatal. Which one? Prague Fatal, right? I'm done with this book. It's magnificent, beautiful writing, and a lot of ups and down story in it. I like it. Prague Fatal. Hope that I can have another edition from his book. Anybody wanna give me this book, okay? I love this Philip Kerr. I only have this one. This is not even mine, but I borrow from a library in my village, and I was shocked because there is a book with English. How to say with English, because normally I find it on Bahasa. Anyway, okay. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna start reading this book from Paulo Coelho. I think Paulo Coelho, The Devil and Miss Prym. This is the guy that wrote this book. I'm gonna read things about him. Paulo Coelho was born in Brazil and has become one of the most widely read and loved authors in the world, especially renowned for The Alchemist and 11 minutes, right? He has sold more than 100 million books worldwide and has been translated into 66 languages. The recipient of numerous prestigious international awards, amongst them the Crystal Award by the World Economic Forum and French Legion or Legion d'Honneur. Paul Coelho was inducted into the Brazilian Academy of Letters in 2002. He writes weekly columns syndicated throughout the world. So, we start reading the book. He have few other books. Okay, but I'm not gonna tell. So he's from Brazil. Yeah, he's from Brazil. He originally from Brazil. Okay, this is the opening. Hail Mary, hail, right? Not hail. Hail Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who turn the thee for helps. I mean, and then again, and a certain ruler asked him, saying, Good master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? And Jesus said unto him, Why, why callest thou me good? None is good, save one, that is God. Luke 18, 18 to 19. I don't know how to read that. I think this is from Bible, which is, I don't mind. Okay, I think I'm gonna read the first chapter. Yeah, I think this is from the author notes. The first story about division comes from ancient Persia. The good of time having created the universe sees harmony all around him, but feels that there is still something very important missing, a companion with whom to share all this beauty. For 1,000 years he prays for a son. The story does not say to whom he prays, given that he is omnipotent, the sole supreme Lord. Nevertheless, he prays, and finally he becomes pregnant. He become pregnant. I wonder about this book though now. When he realizes he has achieved his heart desire, the god of time is filled with remorse, suddenly conscious of how fragile the balance of things is. But it is too late, and the child is already on its way. All he achieves by his lamentations is to cause the son he is carrying in his belly to divide into two. into two. I think that's how to read it, right? The legend recounts that just as good Ormuzd is born out of the god of time's prayers, so evil Ahriman is born out of his remorse, twin brothers. So there is two things that here. The concerned father arranged everything so that Ormuzd will emerge first from his belly, to take charge of his brother and to prevent Ahriman from throwing the universe into confusion. However, evil, being very intelligent and resourceful, managed to push Ormuzd aside at the moment of their birth, and thus is the first to see the light of the stars. This troth, the god of time resolved to forge alliance on Ormuz's behalf. He bring into being the human race so that they can fight alongside Ormuz and stop Ahriman taking control of everything. In the Persian legend, the human race is born to be the ally of God, of good, and according to tradition, good will triumph in the end. However, many centuries later, another story about division emerged, this time presenting the opposite view, man as the instrument of evil. Imagine that most people will know which story I meant. A man and a woman are in the Garden of Eden, enjoying every imaginable delight. But one thing is forbidden. The couple can never know the meaning of good and evil. The Lord good the Lord God says, Genesis 2:17. But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it. And one fine day the serpent appeared, swear, swearing that this knowledge is more important than paradise itself and that they should possess that knowledge. Halo, selamat malam Mbak. Udah mulai baca buku ini? Baru pembukaan. Ini kayaknya buku ini bakal banyak kayak ayat-ayat dari Bible mungkin, karena dari pembukaannya sudah ada 2, kata pengantarnya juga pakai Bible mungkin loh. I'll continue, okay? And one fine day the serpent appears, swearing that this knowledge is more than important than paradise itself, and that they should possess the knowledge. The woman refused, saying that God has threatened her with death. But the serpent assures her that nothing of the kind will happen, but quite the contrary. For on the day when they learn what good and evil are, they will become God's equals. Convince Eve, eats the forbidden fruit and give some of it to Adam. From this moment on, the original balance of paradise is destroyed, and the pair are driven out of paradise and cursed. Yet there remain some enigmatic words spoken by God and which confirm what the serpent said. Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. Ya, banyak di sini. Ini kata pengantarnya udah pakai itu Mbak. Dari author note-nya pakai itu. Terus pembukaannya juga. Tapi akan aku baca karena aku tertarik. Here too, as with the God of time who prays for something even though he himself is the Lord of the universe. Nih, the Bible fails to explain to whom the one God is speaking. And assuming he is unique, why he should use the expression one of us? I don't know about that. Whatever the answer, ya ini udah ada satu, terus dua, tiga, ada empat kali, lima kali, empat kali, ada lima kali, enam kalian. Udah untuk di awal-awal. Mungkin ini kayak buku-buku, nggak tahu nih. Ini lagi nyeritain tentang apa namanya? eh dari ini ya selembar ini. Ini nyeritain awal awal mula apa namanya? Manusia, awal mula ada Tuhan gitu. Semoga ini bukunya nggak berat. Aku punya buku berat satu, aku nggak bisa baca itu karena terlalu berat untuk dicerna. Ini ceritain tapi dari sisi dari apa zaman dari Persia, dari zaman Persia kuno. Jadi mungkin ini mungkin zaman-zaman sebelum apa ada Kristen mungkin, mungkin ya. Saya juga nggak tahu. Mungkin sebelum ada Bible, sebelum ada Alkitab mungkin. Entah itu Taurat, entah itu nggak tahu. Tapi ini dari zaman Persia kuno. Ini ada nih. Comes from ancient Persia. It's mean right. Okay, carry on. Whatever the answer, it is clear that from its very inception, the human race has been condemned to exist within the eternal division, always moving between those two opposing poles. So here we are, afflicted by the same doubts as our ancestors. The aim of this book is to tackle this dilemma. Oh beneran ini. Jadi buku ini kayak menceritakan orang tuh bakalan selalu divided gitu. Ada yang A, ada yang B gitu jadinya. Ini udah bilang sendiri masalahnya. Ini tujuan buku ini untuk men-tackle tuh apa sih? Semacam kayak tackle. Mungkin aku bakal salah ngertiin ya, tapi setauku tackle tuh kayak untuk membedah, untuk menceritakan mungkin. Seperti itu. Occasionally interpolating into the plot other legends on the subjects drawn from the four corners of the earth. The Devil and Miss Prym concludes the trilogy and on the seventh day. 7 hari. Kayak aku pernah dengar kata-kata ini, on the seventh day. Hari ketujuh itu hari Minggu kan? Atau maksudnya hari Sabtu? Kalau hari Sabtu jadinya Sabat. The first two books were by the river Petra first, sat down and wept, 1994. Veronica decided to die, 1998. Ya, mungkin itu maksudnya ya. Trilogi. Concludes trilogi. Karena di buku ini nunjukin tentang untuk mungkin nyeritain pada hari Minggu juga. Bukan hari Minggu aja, hari Minggu kuturut ayah ke kota ya, mungkin di balik kata hari Minggu, di balik hari Minggu mungkin. Aku belum tahu sisinya ini lihat dari mananya. Hari Tuhan memberkati semua ciptaannya. Oke, berarti itu. Pantesan saya pernah dengar yang namanya kayak hari ketujuh gitu. Ya, saya pernah dengar, atau mungkin malah saya pernah diajak ngobrol tentang hal itu mungkin sama teman waktu SMA. Ya. Okay, I'll continue. Each of the three books is concerned with a week in the life of ordinary people, all of whom find themselves suddenly confronted by love, death, and power. I have always believed that in the lives of individuals, just as in society as large, the profoundest change take place within a very reduced time frame. When we least expect it, life set us a challenge to test our courage and willingness to change. At such a moment, There is no point in pretending that nothing has happened or in saying that we are not yet ready. The challenge will not wait. Life does not look back. A week is more than enough time for us to decide whether or not to accept our destiny. Buenos Aires, August 2000. Mungkin ini chapter pertama ini. Ini chapter pertama mungkin. Let me check. Hanya ada yang kata-kata di sini deh. Al alkemis. Ada alkemis beneran sih? Berat nih bukunya Jedung. Ntar dulu aku cek dulu ah. Nangis nih kalau bukunya berat. Enggak lah, aku bisa ngerti. Di buku menceritakan tentang awal mula Tuhan menciptakan hari pertama sampai hari ke-6. Berarti di dalam Alkitab. Mungkin itu kayaknya ini buku itu base-nya itu mungkin. Penasaran sih aku, Mbak. Iya, penasaran banget. Nggak tahu aku yang namanya kayak perang, kayak histori, kayak agama gitu. Pengen banget itu. Tapi yang bahasanya, kayaknya ini bahasanya nggak berat banget. Jadi bukannya gampang dimengerti, tapi bisa dimengerti kalau untuk orang awam seperti aku. Moga aja, Mbak. Aku baca ya. For almost 15 years, old Bertha had spent every day sitting outside her front door. The people of skinny guy, okay. The people of Fiscos knew that this was normal behavior amongst old people. They sit dreaming of the past and their youth. They look out at the world in which they no longer play a part and try to find something to talk to the neighbors about. Berta, however, had a reason for being there. And that morning her waiting came to an end when she saw the stranger climbing the steep hill up to the village, heading for its one hotel. He did not look as she had so often imagined he would. His clothes were shabby, he wore his hair unfashionably long, he was unshaved, and he was accompanied by the devil. My husband is right, she said to herself. If I hadn't been here, no one would have noticed. She was hopeless at telling people's ages, and put the man somewhere between 40 and 50. A youngster, she thought, using a scale of values that only old people understand. She wondered how long he would be staying, but reached no conclusion. It might be only a short time, since all he had with him was a small rucksack. Aku kalau dengar kata rucksack itu kok kotor pikirannya. It's like a ball sack, something like that. You know, when you do that, like when you watch like a military movie, that's like you smell like a bag, something like that, bag of dicks or like sack, something like that, sack like itu kantung kan maksudnya. He would probably just stay. Ya Mbak, kalau dengar ada kata-kata SACK tulisannya, itu langsung aja pikirannya ke situ. Karena dulu aku lihat film film apa namanya film militer gitu, saya lupa itu tentang di Irak pokoknya, tentang militer Amerika yang waktu zaman perang di Irak. Terus apa namanya itu greetingnya satu sama lain itu kayak gitulah, mungkin celotehannya orang di apa namanya militer beda sama orang kayak kita mungkin ya, kayak saya mungkin itu. Jadi ketika ada kata Zax, I don't know how to read correctly, aku selalu mikir ke situ. Jadi probably just stay one night before moving on to the fate about which she knew nothing and cares even less. Even so, all the years she had spent sitting by her front door waiting for his arrival had not been in vain, because they had taught her the beauty of the mountains, something she had never really noticed before, simply because she had been born in the place and had always tended to take a landscape for granted. Unexpected, the stranger went into the hotel. Berta wondered if she should go and warn the priest about this undesirable visitor, but she knew he wouldn't listen to her, dismissing the matter as the kind of thing old people like to worry about. So now she just had to wait and see what happened. It doesn't take a devil much time to bring about distraction. They are like storm or hurricanes or avalanche. Avalanche kan bacanya. Which in a few short hours can destroy trees planted 200 years before. Suddenly Berta realized that the mere fact that evil had just arrived in Viscos did not change anything. Devils comes and go all the time without necessarily affecting anything by their presence. They are constantly apart in the world, sometimes simply to find out what's going on, and others to put some soul or other to put the test. But they are fickle creatures, and there is no logic in their choice of target. Being drawn merely by the pleasure of a battle worth fighting, Berta concluded that there was nothing sufficiently interesting or special about his cause to attract the attention of anyone for more than a day, let alone someone as important as busy as messenger from the dark. She tried to turn her mind to something else, but she couldn't get the image of the stranger out of her head. The sky, which has been clear and bright up until then, suddenly clouded over. That's normal. It always happened at this time of year, she thought. It was simply a coincidence and had nothing to do with the stranger's arrival. Then, in the distance, she heard a clap of thunder, followed by another three. On the one hand, this simply meant that rain was on the way. On the other hand, if the old superstitions of the village were to be believed, the sound, the sound could be interpreted as the voice of the angry god, protesting that mankind had grown indifferent to his presence. Perhaps I should do something. After all, what I was waiting for has finally happened. She sat for a few minutes, paying close attention to everything going on around her. The clouds had continued to gather above the village, but she heard no other sounds. As a good ex-Catholic, she put no store by traditions and superstitions, especially those of Viscos, which has their roots in the ancient Celtic civilization that once existed in place. Now I wonder where is this viscosity village maybe? Ini ya andai kata kamu tertarik dan punya teman Nasrani, coba pinjam Biblenya dan coba baca. Aku pernah, aku pernah eh, bilang aku nggak apa ya. Aku pernah baca ya karena aku pernah kerja di bos aku kan orang Katolik atau Nasrani ya. Saya lupa. Itu saya pernah baca karena kan dia punya kayak tempat buat beribadah gitu di rumahnya. Kan rumahnya gede banget. Sering baca sih buka-buka gitu. Iya, itu tahun 2014. Ya, memang tertarik sih Mbak. Saya tertarik banget baca-baca apa namanya, eh, pengen ngerti dari sisi merekanya gitu kalau saya. Jadi biar sayanya kalau komen juga nggak asal buka mulut gitu. Kan kadang saya juga kadang sebel kan kalau ada orang non muslim ngomenin muslim, sedang orang muslim juga ngomenin non muslim kayak mereka tahu aja gitu. Itu kan nyebelin kalau untuk orang yang tahu. Jadi saya tertarik. Tapi kalau untuk yang bener-bener apa namanya dalemin mungkin enggak ya karena saya apa namanya butuh sesuatu dulu yang bikin saya tertarik, kayak mungkin dengan baca buku seperti ini tertarik gitu. Bulu kucing banyak banget. Oke, saya terusin. Salah satu yang saya sering bukan compare, membandingkan ya, tapi ada satu hal saya nggak bisa ngomongin itunya, partnya mana, karena saya bagian dari, iya bener. Ada sih dulu saya pernah bukan bener-bener belajar ya, tapi untuk satu hal yang saya alami ini, saya baca itu dari Alkitab, dari Al-Quran, dan dari teman saya yang beragama Buddha. Saya tanya satu hal ini karena saya memang ada di lingkaran hal ini, jadi saya benar-benar tanya itu dari tiga agama itu, dan jawabannya hampir sama dari saya. Oh, memang ini memang salah gitu. Saya pernah itu, Mbak, saking kayak mungkin cari pembenaran. Ibaratnya gini, kalau saya ibaratnya makan ibaratnya apa ya yang gampang ya, ibaratnya nyuri gitu, dia agak mungkin ibaratnya saya nyuri, terus saya coba nanya nih sama teman saya yang di agama Buddha, boleh nggak sih nyuri, terus alasannya apa, ini gitu. Terus saya juga, untuk waktu itu saya punya itu, masih kerja di situ, jadi saya buka-buka buku tentang hal pencurian itu, tapi yang saya alami bukan pencurian ya. Terus saya buka itu, oh ternyata memang sama hukumnya, walaupun mungkin beda cara menghukumnya, tapi saya benar-benar kadang kan takutnya, bukan takutnya, kadang kan yang di kita salah, di orang lain nggak salah kan. Jadi biar kalau kita ngomong, kalau kita ngejudge itu apa ya bahasa Indonesia nih, kalau kita menilai sesuatu, jadi kita nggak hanya dilihat dari kita sendiri, tapi kita bisa lihat dari orang itunya gitu. Kalau saya lebih ke situnya sih, Mbak. Oke, I continue sebelum lupa sampai mana tadi. Pertama saya penasaran Viscos itu udah di kota mana. Mungkin Viscos itu dari daerah Brazil sana. Oke, a thunder scalp is an entirely natural phenomenon. If God wanted to talk to man, he wouldn't use such roundabout methods. She just thought this when she again heard a peal of thunder accompanied by a flash of lightning. Oh itu, aku nggak mau ngejudge sih, menilai aja. Kalau menghakimi itu kayaknya terlalu berat banget ya. Oke, a lot closer this time. Berta got to the feet, picked up her chairs, and went into the house before the rain started. But this time she felt her heart contract with an indefinable fear. What should I do? She said. Again she wished that the stranger would simply leave at once. She was too old to help herself or her village, far less assist Almighty God, who, if he needed any help, would surely have chosen someone younger. This was all just some innocent dream. Her husband clearly had nothing better to do than to invent ways of helping her pass the time. But of one thing she was sure, she had seen the devil in the flesh and dressed as a pilgrim. Oke, so ini apa sih namanya? Paragraf pertama ini mungkin ceritain wanita tradisional mungkin ya. Jadi kayak kalau orang Jawa, kalau kamu nggak boleh kalau malam-malam duduk depan pintu, kamu nggak boleh nyapu malam-malam gitu, mungkin kayak gitu tipe orang-orang yang masih kuno, mungkin masih percaya dengan tahayul, mungkin seperti itu ini. Kitty, where are you going? Tak tengokin kucingku, Mbak. Hey, Kitty. Kitty. She certainly listened to me, but she doesn't want to turn around. Hey, fat lady. Kitty. Anyway, I'm gonna continue the second paragraph. Ini kayaknya asik deh bukunya. The hotel was at the same time a shop selling local products, a restaurant serving food typical of the region, and a bar where the people of his coast. Dia lagi mikir, dia kan kayaknya hamil lagi tuh mbak, lagi mikir ini udah hamil nggak ada bapaknya mungkin. Dia tipe kucing yang nggak afeksi sama sekali, dia nggak suka yang namanya dielus-elus, di peluk-peluk, nggak suka dia tipe kucing yang lu gue lapar lo kasih makan seperti itu. Habis itu dah dia main ke sawah kemana gitu. Ya nggak pernah sekalipun aku punya kucing yang apa namanya yang affectionate sama aku. Ya cuma butuh makan aja. Orang di apa kutunya dimatiin aja nggak boleh. Tuh dia udah mau berangkat cari tikus mungkin di sawah. Where are you going? She's a smart girl. I love her so much. Okay. Legend and a bar where the people of his cause could gather to talk about what they always talk about. How the weather was doing, or how young people had no interest in the village. 9 months of winter, 3 months of hell. They used to say, referring to the fact that each year they had only 90 days to carry out all the work in the field: fertility, sowing, waiting, the harvesting the crops, storing the hay, and shearing the sheep. Everyone who lived there knew they were clinging to a world whose days were numbered. Even so, it was not easy for them to accept that they would be the last generation of the farmers and shepherds who had lived in those mountains for centuries. Sooner or later, the machine would arrive, the livestock would be reared far from the special food. The village itself might well be sold to a big multinational that would turn it into a ski resort. This is what had happened to other villages in the region, but Viscos had resisted because it all owed a debt to the past, to the strong traditions of those ancestors who had once chosen to live there, and who had taught them the importance of fighting to the bitter end. The stranger carefully read the form he was given to fill in at the hotel, the stranger decided what he was going to put. From his accents, they would know he came from some South American country, and he decided it should be Argentina, because he really liked the football team. In the space left for his address, he wrote Columbia Street, knowing that South Americans are in the habit of paying homage to each other by naming important places after neighboring country. As his name, he chose that of a famous terrorist from the previous centuries. In less than 2 hours, all the 280 inhabitants of his coast knew that a stranger named Carlos has arrived in the village. They had been born in Argentina and now lived in Pleasant Street in Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires. That is the advantage of a very small villages without making the slightest effort. You can learn all there is to know about a person's life, which was precisely what the newcomer wanted. He went up to his room and unpacked his rucksack. It contained a few clothes, a shaving kit, extra pair of shoes, vitamins to ward off colds, and a thick notebook to write in. An 11 bar of gold. Boy, gold? Its weight to 2 kilos? Damn, 11 gold weights 2 kilos each? Worn out by tension, by the climb, and by the weight of has been carrying, the stranger fell asleep almost at once, though not before placing a chair under the door handle, even though he knew he could count on each and every one at Fisco's 281 inhabitants. The next morning he ate breakfast, left his dirty clothes at the reception to be laundered, put the gold bar back in his rucksack, and set off for the mountain to east of the village. On his way he saw only one villager, an old woman sitting in front of her house who was looking at him with great interest. He plucked into the forest, where he waited until his hearing has become used to the noises made by the insects and birds, and by the wind rattling the leafless branches. He knew that in a place like this someone could easily be observing without his being aware of it. So he stood there for almost an hour without doing anything. When he felt sure that any possible observers would have lost interest and moved on without anything to report, he dug a hole close to a rock outcrop in the shape of Y and hid one of the bar there. Then he climbed a little higher, spent another hour as if in a rapt contemplation of nature, spotting another rocky outcrop, this time in the form of an eagle, and dug another hole, in which he placed the remaining 10 gold bar. The first person he saw as he walked back to the village was a young woman sitting beside one of the many temporary rivers that form when the ice melted high up in the mountains. She looked up from her book, acknowledged his presence, and resumed her reading. Doubtless her mother had told her never to talk to strangers. Strangers, however, when they arrive in a few places, have the right to try and make friends with people they do not know, and so he went over to her. "Hello," he said. "Very hot for the time of year." She nodded in agreement. The strangers went on. "I'd like you to come and look at something." She politely put down her book, held out her hand, and introduced herself. "My name is Chantal. Chantal. I work in the evenings at the bar of the hotel where you are staying. And I was surprised when you didn't come down to dinner, because a hotel doesn't make its money just for renting room, you know. But from everything the guests consume, you are Carlos from you are Carlos from Argentina, and you live in Columbia Street. Everyone in the village know that already, because a man arriving here outside of the hunting season is always an object of curiosity. A man in his 50s, with graying hair and the look of someone whom has been around a bit. And thank you for your invitation, but I've already seen the landscape around Viscos from every possible imaginable angle. Perhaps it would be better if I showed you places you haven't seen, but I suppose you must be very busy. I'm 52. My name isn't. Oh, I read it the wrong way. I'm 52. My name isn't Carlos, and everything I wrote on the front of the hotel is false. Chantal didn't know what to say. The stranger went on. It's not fish cause I want to show you. It's something you've never seen before. What? She had read many stories about young women who decided to go into the forest with a stranger only to vanish without trace. For the moment she was afraid, but her fear was quickly replaced by a desire of for adventure. For for adventure. After all, this man wouldn't dare to do anything to her when she had just told him that everyone in the village knew all about him. even if none of the details were actually true. Who are you? Who are you? She asked. If what you say is true, surely you realize I could turn you into the police for passing yourself off with a false identity. I promise to answer all your questions, but first you have to come with me because I really don't want to show you something. It's about 5 minutes walk from here. Chandra closed her book, took a deep breath, and offered up a silent prayer, while her heart beat in fear and excitement. Then she got up and followed the stranger, convinced that this would prove to be yet another disappointing encounter, one of which started out full of promise that turned into yet another dream of impossible love. The man went over to the Y-shaped rock indicated the recent dark earth, and suggested she uncover what lay buried there. I'll get my hand dirty, protests Chantal. I'll get my dress dirty too. The man grabbed a branch, broke it, and handed it to her to use as a spade. She found such behavior distinctly odd, but decided to do as he asked. 5 minutes later, a grubby, yellowish part lay before her. It looks like gold, she said. It is gold, and it's mine. Now please cover it over again. She did as she was told. The man led her to the next hiding place. Again she began digging, and this time was astonished at the quantity of the gold she saw before her. There's gold too, and it's also mine. Oh, said the stranger. Chantal was beginning to cover the gold over again with soil. When he asked her to leave the hole as it was, he sat down on one of the rocks, lit a cigarette, and started at the horizon. Why did you want to show me this? He asked. He didn't respond. Who are you exactly, and what are you doing here? Why did you show me this, knowing I could go and tell everyone what's hidden here on the mountain? So many questions all at once, the stranger replied, keeping his eyes fixed on the mountains as if obvious to her presence. As for telling the others, that precisely what I want you to do. You promised me that if I came with you, you would answer my question I ask you. In the first place, you shouldn't believe in promises. Promises. The world is full of them. Promises of rich, of eternal salvation, of infinite love. Some people think they can promise anything, others accept whatever seems to guarantee better days ahead, as I suspect is your case. Those who those who make promises they don't keep end up powerless and frustrated, and exactly the same fate awaits those who believe those promises. He was making this too complicated. He was talking about his own life, about the night that had changed his destiny, about the lies he had been obliged to believe because he could not accept reality. He needed rather to use the kind of language the young woman would understand. Let me check. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. I need to stop somewhere. And then I'm gonna read one more paragraph, okay? Chantal, however, has understood just about everything. Like all our older men, he was obsessed with the idea of sex with a younger woman. Oh, this dirty. Like all human beings, he thought money could buy whatever he wanted. Like all strangers, he was sure that young women from remote villages were naive enough to accept any proposal, real and imaginary, provided it offered a faint chance of escape. He was not the first and would not, Alice, be the last to try to seduce her in that vulgar way. What confused her was the amount of gold he was offering. She had never imagined she could be worth that much. And the thought both pleased her and filled her with a sense of panic. I'm too old to believe in promises, he said, trying to gain time. Even though you've always believed in them and still do, you're wrong. I know I live in paradise and I have read the Bible, and I'm not going to make the same mistake as Eve, who wasn't content with her lot. Okay, I'm gonna finish here. And also, it's already 9 o'clock. I have to close the gate, and I think my friends is going arrive soon. So yeah, thanks for being here. Makasih Mbak Joanna. I don't know if you are still there, but yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Sampai jumpa.